Hey guys, in today's episode, new balance changes are just upon us and people are starting to dislike these community polls. All that and more in today's episode of Clash World. Hey guys, it's Legendaray here, and welcome back to another episode of Clash Worlds. In this weekly show, we take a look at the most recent announcements from the Clash Royale team, the hottest topics in CR eSports, as well as what's going on in the community. Then, we'll finish off the episode by breaking down the meta and featuring my off-meta deck of the week. Now, if you're enjoying Clash Worlds, then please subscribe and hit that bell to get notified of every new video that comes out. Also, go ahead and check out my Twitter. I'm starting to be a little bit more active on it, so if you want to go ahead and contact me, that's probably the best way. This week was a bit of a slower news week, so unfortunately it will be a bit of a shorter video. So without further ado, let's get right into the first section, new in the arena. New in the arena is where we find out about what the Supercell team has been up to this past week. And of course, it's November, and with the new month comes the next set of balance changes. This month, we've already got 10 changes, so it's a really big balance change compared to previous ones. Now, I'm sure you've probably heard about most of these balances already, so let's quickly go over them and my opinion on each one. Royal Ghost hit points, minus 9%. Wow, that is a huge change. While a nerf was definitely warranted, I'm not sure if maybe Supercell overdid it a little bit this time. I mean, 10% is a lot of health. In my opinion, the Royal Ghost will still be viable because its invisibility and splash damage is just so useful that I still think that it is a worthwhile trade-off to run in a deck. However, do expect its use rates to drop substantially. Royal Hog's damage, minus 6%. This is another really well-deserved nerf. With Royal Hogs being one of the most popular and consistent win conditions in the game, its ability to both split and concentrate pressure on lanes is very threatening. And if you don't have certain counters, those Hogs are pretty much guaranteed damage on the tower. Now, I think these Hogs are still going to be viable, as a slight tone down barely changes any interactions at all. Inferno Tower hit points, plus 3%. Good old Inferno Tower finally getting a buff after its clearly better counterpart, the Inferno Dragon, had dominated for months. In addition, with all of the zapping cards, Inferno has just been pretty crappy in the past meta. This 3% change could help the Inferno see a return in probably bait and maybe some expo. Really like this change. Skeleton Barrel death damage, plus 62%. Oh my god, that is an insanely big buff for the Skeleton Barrel. The Skeleton Barrel now does enough damage to one-shot equally leveled Spirit Goblins. In addition, it can kill minions in combination with an Ice Spirit. This could very well bring Skeleton Barrel back into the bait meta, especially combined with the Inferno Tower buff and Dark Goblin buff. Bait could be seeing a comeback real soon. Mega Knight hit speed, minus 0.1 second. Mega Knight has just been a card outclassed in the past few metas. With Pekka, Inferno Dragon, and other tank distraction units being so popular, Mega Knight just doesn't have much of a place in this meta. Now, while this 0.1 second buff seems really small, it's actually a 7.5% buff in damage per second. Honestly, I don't think it will do that much, but of course, we'll just have to wait and see on this one. Tombstone spawning speed, minus 0.2 seconds, spawn skeletons reduced from 4 to 3. Tombstone at the moment is one of the best buildings in the game, if not the best. Having a part in Graveyard, Beatdown, Royal Hogs, Lava Loon, and Control, it's such a versatile building and baits out both small spells such as Log and big spells such as Poison. This nerf will make it a bit less powerful on defense, as with less skeletons, obviously its distracting power will be slightly lowered. Giant hit points, minus 2%. This tiny change allows an arena tower to kill the giant in one less shot. With giant being one of those staple win conditions on both ladder and challenges, it's time to give this menace a little tone down. Plus, it's time for the Goblin Giant to seem like a bit of a better alternative anyways. Magic Archer, first attack slower. First attacks are generally pretty big nerfs, historically. Magic Archer has become a bit too effective in this meta over the past few months, with Fireball and Poison bait decks almost everywhere. Making this card a bit less effective makes it a bit less valuable to carry in those decks, so I'm interested to see how its usage will trend after this balance. Cannon Cart hit speed, plus 0.1 second. By slowing down this beast's damage per second, the Cannon Cart will be a bit less effective in Graveyard decks, which is generally where the Cannon Cart appears. Graveyard, being another top archetype in this meta, will of course be toned down and force some players to switch to another card. In addition, its high DPS is just so dominating on defense, so this change will keep that slightly in control without going too overboard. Dark Goblin damage plus 4%. This was a change that we voted for in-game. Not much to say here, bringing up his damage slightly could make him a better sub for cards such as Musketeer or Flying Machine. Also again, this is a slight buff to bait as well. Oh man, that was a really long list. Overall, I quite like the balance changes. Maybe some of the changes seemed a bit drastic, but I trust that the team has play tested these changes well, and it is going to work out. Keep up the good work, Supercell. Now that's going to do it for New in the Arena. It's time to check out the eSports update. The eSports update is a segment where we take a look at the new and rising pro players as well as recent eSports competitions. Now, there's not much going on at the moment, but as CRL seasons are finally beginning to wrap up, so far there are 3 teams that are currently in the World Finals. There are the North American champions, the Immortals, the European champions, Team Queso, and the China champion, Nova Esports. Can't wait for more CRL seasons to wrap up as we can see exactly what the competition's gonna be. Now that we're caught up on the most recent esports news, let's check out the rising rumors. Firstly, a lot of people aren't happy with these polls that the dev team has been conducting on balances. A lot of players just don't have the game knowledge or experience to provide accurate voting, and this criticism is clearly expressed from several pros. As Bochum tweeted out, this also means that a poll should never happen again. And this isn't just the pros here. Even people on Reddit are just showing their dislike about these polls, as the bias that many voters have is definitely skewing the results. In my opinion, I also don't really like the polls as much, as I think you should just leave the balances to the dev team. I mean, these balances have game-wide effects. Now, Sir Tag might have a better solution to this voting issue. Let's take a look. Instead of voting on balance changes, it'd be cool if we could vote on the next emote set or special challenge. In fact, Clash Royale replied, "Funny that you mentioned that. So, could we be very well voting for the next set of emotes or the next challenge? Honestly, that sounds like much more fun for the community to vote on, as these are more casual aspects of the game that won't be as game changing." Next up, most people are generally happy with the overall balances. Now, Surgical Goblin tweeted, "I like the looks of the balance changes, but the 3% HP to the Inferno Tower will not change anything." NRG Carter said, "I don't agree with everything, but not bad. I just don't understand how you could justify not nerfing E-Drag and not nerfing anything from the Ice Wizard, Baby Dragon, and NATO combination." I kinda agree with this statement. With those 3 cards providing so much value everywhere, I hope that maybe it somehow gets indirectly nerfed with this set of balances. Overall, I still quite like these balances except for one thing. Siege? No? Okay. Here's what the Rumham had to say about the lack of Siege buff. "I promise I have nothing against Expo. If it doesn't bounce up a little bit, then we can do more direct buffs. The last month, it has been around 42% win rate, which isn't that terrible, so we were hesitant to overbuff it. More bait in Inferno might make the meta more favorable for Expo." He then also said that "I thought the community would vote archers. Inferno Tower buff and return of classic log bait can help Expo. Some pros also think Expo is pretty close to fine, and I didn't want to risk returning the 2.9 meta a few months ago when Tesla was dominating." Now, I like that thought, but I still would have liked any tiny Expo buff. Come on. Also, if you honestly thought archers would win, just go ahead and straight up buff the archers. Alright, well, now that we covered the trending topics in the community, let's go ahead and break down the meta. Now, because the balance changes are going into effect tomorrow, there's no point in breaking down the current meta. Instead, let's go ahead and predict what I think the new meta is going to look. Firstly, I predict a comeback of bait. I doubt that it'll be as popular as it was a couple months ago, but it'll definitely see somewhat of a resurgence, especially with the buff of Skeleton Barrel, Inferno, and Dark Goblin. 3 cards that all have places in this archetype. Secondly, Fireball bait decks should somewhat decrease, especially with the nerf to Royal Hogs, Magic Archer, and Tombstone. Now, on the topic of Tombstone, I still think it will be effective. It's still going to distract units very well, it's still going to be a Fireball and a Poison bait, it's just going to be ever so slightly weaker on defense. And Expo, well, rip Expo. So that's the current meta for you guys. Now let's check out the off-meta deck of the week. That's right, in each Clash Royale episode, I'm going to be featuring one off-meta deck that works in the current meta. This week, we have a very interesting Giant Skeleton bait deck submitted by Chase Reed. With both the Skeleton Army, Goblin Gang, and the newly buffed Skeleton Barrel, this deck has some crazy synergies. In addition, Inferno is about to be buffed, and as I like to say, Giant Skeleton is just a walking positive elixir trade. So, without further ado, let's get right into a battle. Alright, so looks like this battle is going to be against against Tiago from the clan New Magnetas BR. Good luck to him. And starting off, ooh, he's going real aggressive with a battle ram right at the bridge. So we're just gonna go ahead, use our skeleton army, chomp that thing up, and looks like he either doesn't have a zap or like a barb barrel, or just didn't have any small spells in cycle, and looks like he's gonna use some minions. I'll just zap them out, and yeah, relatively passive start on my part. He's starting off really aggressive, and yeah, let's just go ahead and go with the Goblin Gang right now. We do have a bit of an elixir advantage, so let's see, he's got a Royal Ghost, so what I think I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to kind of leak a little bit of elixir, wait for that Royal Ghost to get to that arena tower, and go ahead and activate my King's Tower. Getting an activated King's Tower is always just a really good decision. And here, Giant Skeleton will go ahead and take that bandit out. Let's go ahead and follow up with his Skeleton Barrel, just to try and get some chip damage onto the tower, you know, and looks like he's going to use a P.E.K.K.A. So it looks like it's going to be probably that P.E.K.K.A. bridge spam deck that is doing so good in this meta. So here he's going to zap out the Skeleton Barrel, and that means that he doesn't have any counter to our Skeleton Army. So we can just go ahead and plop that down to take out that P.E.K.K.A. And that should be good right there. Look, oh wow, really well played right there. He knew that I had a Skeleton Army in cycle, so he pre-poison, and that was actually a really good move. So here we're gonna use our Goblin Gang right there. Fortunately, we do take that stuff out. Let's go get a Magic Archer down, and the barbs will not get any hits onto the tower. So hey, you know what, that's pretty good. And let's see here, the Magic Archer is going to go ahead, maybe get a little bit of chip shots onto the tower, but other than that, I really don't expect too much. Okay, here's going to get a Giant Skeleton to protect that Magic Archer. It's honestly so important to protect that Magic Archer, and the Magic Archer actually gets a few hits onto the tower. Let's go. And here, let's go just get an Inferno Tower right at the bridge to go ahead and shred that P.E.K.K.A. Hopefully, it won't take out the Magic Archer, and oh my god, it took out the Magic Archer, and it got a hit onto the Inferno, so this is definitely not too good right here. But as we go into double extra time, we do have a solid 400 damage lead. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get that Skeleton Barrel and that Goblin Gang right there. He's gonna go ahead and use his E-Wiz on that, so let's just go and get a Magic Archer down, and he's got a massive push right here. So let's just go with the Skeleton Barrel, clog up that lane, zap out that stuff right there. Let's go get a Skeleton Army into the Magic Archer, and oh my god, that came down just in time. Now the Giant Skeleton's gonna go ahead and blow up everything right there, so we should be fine on that left side. So 30 seconds left, let's just go with a Goblin Gang on the bridge right there, try and get some chip shots. Nope, let's go with a Magic Archer and a Skeleton Barrel right there. Magic Archer will hit that tower. Look at that, really kind of cheap, but hey, you know what, I don't care. And yeah, there we go, Magic Archer takes that tower down to 563. Now here we do have to defend that right there, so let's just go in right here with a Skeleton Army and an Inferno and a zap spell right there. And let's see, let's go with the Goblin Gang right here. Meanwhile, that left tower will get taken down by that Magic Archer. 2 seconds left, 1 second left, and GG right there, beating one of the top decks in this meta with this really crazy Giant Skeleton bait deck. So there you go, the off-meta deck of the week. I definitely recommend you guys give this deck a try, as bait is honestly making a comeback in this next meta, and this is honestly such a fun deck to play. If you want to submit your own deck to be featured, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. But unfortunately, guys, that's all I've got time for in today's episode. If you enjoyed, please leave a like down below, as well as a subscription to my channel. And as always, this is Legendaray, and I'm signing off. See you guys next time.